viewers. Today we are going to be taking transfer pricing from Ican 2019 Ican May 2019 question 5, and please you will help us do the reading of the question, then we proceed to taking the solution for these particular diet questions.
Question 5. TK is a company that produces toy television sets targeting children of the elites. The company has two divisions, Division S and Division B. Division X manufactures components for the televisions and sells components in Division B and to external customers. Division B uses 5 of the components in each of the toy television sets that it manufactures and sells television sets directly to external customers. Division S, budgeted variable manufacturing cost per component. Direct material, 140 naira. Direct labor, 180 naira. Variable overhead, 120 naira. The following information relevant to the next sale is also available. Fixed cost, 5,600,000 naira. Production capacity, 175,000 components. External demand, 150,000 components. Potential demand from Division B, 80,000 components. The anticipated external market price for a component is 500 naira. Division B, sales price, 4,500 naira. Budgeted variable manufacturing cost per television. Direct material, 400 naira. Direct labor, 620 naira. Variable overhead, 160 naira. In addition to the variable costs above, each toy television set needs 5 components. Fixed costs are budgeted to be 14,600,000 for next sale. Annual sales of the toy television sets are expected to be 16,000 units. Transfer pricing policy. Transfer prices are set at opportunity costs. Division S must satisfy the demand of Division B before selling components externally. Division B is also allowed to purchase components from Division S or from external suppliers. A. Assuming that Division B buys all the components it requires from Division X, prepare a profit statement for each division detailing sales and costs, showing external sales and internal company transfers separately where appropriate. B. A specialist external supplier has approached Division B and offered to supply 80,000 components at a price of 420 naira each. The components fulfill the same function as those manufactured by Division S. The manager of B has accepted the offer and has agreed to buy all the components it requires from this supplier. I. Produce a revised profit statement for each division and for the total TK company. Division S has just received an inquiry from a new customer for the production of 25,000 components. The manager of Division S requires a total profit for the year for the division of 4,500,000. II calculates the minimum price per component to sell the 25,000 components to the new customer that would enable the manager of Division S to meet the profit targets. Note: this order will have no effect on the divisional fixed costs and no impact on the 150,000 component Division S sells to its external customers at 500 naira per component. Division B will continue to purchase the 80,000 components it requires from the specialist external supplier.
Okay, now we are going to get the solution to this question. The A part is saying the requirement for the A is that assuming that Division B buys all the components it requires from Division X, prepare a profit statement for each division, detailing sales and costs, showing external sales and internal company transfers separately where appropriate. So we are going to take that. It means you are going to prepare the profit statement of department or division X and that of division B. Division S being those that produce and sell to division B. So profit statement of division division S. Then I will have profit statement of division B being the other department within the company TK. This is a requirement. So normally we have, to get profit, we have sales less variable cost, which gives us contribution. We have sales less variable cost, which gives us contribution. Then we have less fixed cost, which gives us
Profit.
So we work towards that, starting with the sales of division S. So sales revenue of division X. Now for sales revenue of division X, we are clearly told in the question that we have a limiting value, a limited value of 175,000 items. So we can't go beyond that value. 175,000 items is what division S have in total. 175,000 items. Now, for sales, since they have 175,000 items and they are meant to supply 80,000 to division B, they must satisfy that before they talk to the external people. Now, before they consider that, and they have told us that they are considering opportunity cost, we are meant to supply 150,000 units. 150,000 units to external buyers at 500 naira each per unit. But our variable cost based on the equation for division S, our variable cost based on the equation for division S is, let's see, our variable cost for division S will have
440.
direct material 140, variable cost division S, variable cost. We have direct material which is 140. We have direct labor which is 180. Then we equally have variable overhead. Variable overhead is 120, and the total will give us what?
440.
440. So this 440 is the total variable cost per unit that it will cost division S in making that product. Since I am meant to give division B 80,000 units, and external people are demanding for 150,000 units, the total amount I have is 175,000 units. This 175,000 units, if I should less 80,000 units, if I am to less 80,000 units, I'll be left with 95,000 units. Meaning I will only have the luxury of sending 95,000 units to external people that demand it. Why they need 150,000 units? There will be an opportunity cost. I will need to check the difference between 150,000 and what I can actually deliver to them, which is 95,000. The difference will give us 55,000 units. Now, this 55,000 units, I am going to supply it to division B based on the external price, because that is the opportunity cost. I will send it to division B based on the external price. So, for the sales, I have internal sales. It is internal. I will send how many units? I will send 80,000 units, but first I will split it based on my variable cost and based on the external. So I will send 55,000 down to division B at the cost of 500, because that is the opportunity cost here. Then the remaining 95,000 I'm going to send to them at 440 naira, which is my variable cost per unit. So in total, I have 95,000. 95,000 times 440, which will give us how much? 95,000, let me say internal, 95,000 times 440 naira. 440. Okay, there is a mix-up in this. We are supposed to send 80,000 units. That is internal. I'm adding all of them together. I was supposed to put them separately. So that 80,000 units I'm supposed to send, I said I will send 55,000 units, just as I've gotten here. 55,000 units at 500 naira per unit. At 500 naira per unit. That will give us a total of what?
27,500,000.
27,500,000. Then the balance of 25, which will make it 80,000. So that will be 25,000 units times. I will send this 25,000 units now at the variable cost of 440. So I'll be having 440, which will give us what?
11 million.
11 million. So this will give us 11 million. So if you are to add these two together now, we arrive at the 80,000 units, meaning we have satisfied the division B. So add up this to get, this will give us our total sales. That should give us 38. Should be 38 million.
500,000.
500,000. Okay. 38,500,000. Then we'll consider the variable cost. The variable cost now, we have variable cost. For variable cost, in this we are going to exhaust the entire 175,000 units as we have there. So that will be at the variable cost of is 175,000 times the cost per unit of 440. So to give us what? 175,000 times 440.
77 million.
77 million.
Okay, we've not done for external.
We've not done for external.
Yes.
Oh, we did not miss that out. This is just for internal before we get the total. Miss that. This is internal, we still have external. For external, we have how much balance is left? If we have given out 80,000, what is left?
95.
We'll be left with 95,000, which is this one. So we have 95,000 times 500, not 440, because that is the external price. That will give us what?
47,500,000.
So 47,500,000. In total, we'll be having what? That should now give us the total sales. Total sales. Total sales.
86 million.
86 million. So that's our total sales of 86 million. Now we can less the variable cost. Variable cost. Now for the variable cost, what do we have? We have 175,000 units times the price of 440, which will give us what?
77 million.
77 million. Okay, that will less this. So less that, it gives us a contribution.
9 million.
Contribution of 9 million. Now, we'll less fixed cost. You can just say fixed cost or put in bracket fixed costs. And the fixed cost is what?
5,600,000.
5,600,000. Once we less the fixed cost, we are having what? That should be
3,400,000.
which is a profit. 3,400,000. So this is the profit for division S as required. We proceed to division B. Division B. So for division B, their sales revenue. For their sales revenue, they are talking of how they sold or the quantity they sold to the people. What they sold according to the question here, we're talking of 16,000 units. 16,000 units was sold. So we'll have 16,000 units at what rate? 4,500, which gives us 16,000 times 4,500.
72 million.
72 million naira. Okay. 72 million naira will less the variable costs. So variable costs. According to what you have here, they received from, because they're buying all their 80,000 units from division S. So we pick these values. You have 55,000 times 500, because that's how division X sends to them, which gave us 27,500. Then also this 25,000 at 440, which gives us what? 11 million. Now we have other variable costs are stated based on the values here. We have other variable costs. We have direct material based on division B. Direct material is 400. We have direct labor, which is 620. Then we have variable overhead, which is 160. Total of what?
1,180
naira. Now they sold 16,000 units. So we'll have 16,000 units times 1,180 naira. 1,180, which gives us what?
80,880,000 naira.
80,880,000 naira. Then, for less sales revenue from the variable cost for division B, we'll be having what?
14,620,000 as our contribution.
14,620,000. This is our contribution. Then, let me wipe this. Then we are going to less fixed costs. So fixed costs, which is what?
14,600,000.
14,620,000 minus 14,600,000 will give us
20,000.
20,000 naira. 20,000 naira becomes our profit. So this answers the A of that requirement, which says we should compute their profit statement for each of the divisions based on the scenario painted. We'll be going to answer or profile a solution to question B. We are going to take the solution for the B part of this transfer pricing question. The B says a specialist external supplier has approached division B an offer to supply 80,000 components. So those 80,000 components that Division S was supposed to supply to Division B, an external supplier have offered to supply it to Division B at a price of 420 naira each. The components fulfill the same function as those manufactured by Division S, meaning it's the same thing. The manager of Division B has accepted the offer and has agreed to buy all the components it requires from this supplier, meaning they are no longer taking from Division S. Now they say produce a revised profit statement. That is the I. Produce a revised profit statement for each division and for the total TK company. Now I will produce for division profit statement for division S. They will have profit statement for division B. Okay. We start with the sales. Now the sales or the pattern at which division S will sell, since they are no longer selling to division B, will change. They are no longer sending 80,000 units to B. What it means is they are selling the entire 150,000 units to the external supplier, to the external person that is demanding from them. It means I'll be having 150,000 units times the price of 500 that they are selling to the external person that is demanding, which will give us how much?
75 million.
75 million naira. Now we'll less the variable, or say just say variable cost. Variable cost. Now the variable cost is just for that amount that was sold. So I'm having 150,000 times the what it will cost Division S in producing. That will be how much? 440. So 150,000 times 440 will give us what?
66 million.
66 million. If I less this, what do I have?
9 million.
9 million. That is my contribution of 9 million. Then I'll just say fixed cost. Fixed cost. The fixed cost is what?
5,600,000.
5,600,000. Once I less my fixed cost, I get what? My profit. That gives us what?
3,400,000.
3,400,000. This is the profit statement for Division S. Now for Division B, since they are buying the entire, that will be under variable cost. For their sales, I will still have the 16,000, which is the amount they say they sold. That will be sales. Sales of what? 16,000 times what cost?
4,500.
4,500. So that gives us what?
72 million.
72 million. Now, the 72 million is my sales, and I have variable costs. Now, the variable costs, they said they bought the 80,000 units from a specialist who offered to sell to them at 420 naira. So I'm having 80,000 times 420. Abi?
Yes.
This gives us what?
33,600,000.
33,600,000. We have other variable costs, which gives us 16,000 times what was the total variable cost as we got in the computation. That will be what?
1180.
1180 from our calculation of A. So 16,000 times 1180 gives us what?
80 million 880,000 naira.
880,000. Once we less this, we get our contribution. And the contribution becomes what?
19 million 520,000.
19 million 520,000. Fees cost. The fees cost is what?
14 million 600,000.
600,000. And profit becomes 19 million 520 minus 14 million 600,000.
We have 4 million 920,000
as our profit. Now, they said you should prepare the individual profit statement for Division S and Division B, and they also went ahead to say total TK company. That is a combination of the two. So while I am doing that, I'll just use this part of the board. So for TK company, I'll have to add them together. That will not be just for Division S here now. I will have the combination of both Division S and B. As Division S and Division B. So I'll be adding them. So sales, for their sales value, I'll be having, for their sales value, I'll be having what was the sales of Division S?
75 million.
Sales, that is Division S, 75 million. And the sales of Division B,
72.
Division B is 72 million. So that will give us total sales before we start going to variable costs. That will give us total sales. That is total sales. Total sales is what?
147 million.
147 million. Now, the variable cost. You can clearly see that the variable cost for Division B is 66 million. Variable cost, can say variable costs, Division
S.
Division S first. Okay, let's take that. That is
66 million.
66 million. Division B has 2. So Division B, the first variable cost is what?
33 million
600,000. And the second is what?
18 million
880,000. And the total is what? The total is what?
52 million 480,000.
52 million 480,000. Now, if I less the variable costs from this total sales, I have contribution, which is what?
28 million 520,000.
520,000. Then fixed costs. And the fixed costs will have Division S and Division B. Division X fixed cost is what?
5,600,000.
5,600,000. And that of B is what?
40,600,000.
So if I less this, I have a profit
of
what?
8,320,000.
8,320,000. So this is this is the total of both divisions, which is part of the requirement of the question. We have earlier prepared for division S and division B. They also ask for the total, which is the combination of division X and B. So that's the profit for the combination, 8,320,000. So we'll be proceeding to the requirement II of the B, because this is BI. This is BI. We'll be proceeding to requirement BII. All right, we have a BII. BII, according to the scenario painted here, I said Division S has just received an inquiry from a new customer for the production of 25,000 components. The manager of Division S requires a total profit for the year for the division of 4.5 million naira. Now, they said I calculate the minimum price per component to sell the 25,000 components to the new customer that would enable the manager of Division S to meet the profit target. They said, note, this order will have no effect on the divisional fixed cost and no impact on the 150,000 component Division S sells to its existing external customers at 500 naira per component. Division B will continue to purchase the 80,000 components it requires from the specialist external supplier, meaning Division S will not be supplying to Division B. They will only be supplying to the external 150,000 components at 500 plus this other offer that they have received, which if you recall, they have 175,000 in total. Now, if they are selling 150,000 to external, just as I've done in the previous workings, they will have a balance of 25,000. Now they're receiving an offer for that 25,000, and they're asking us what will be the price, the perfect price to sell that 25,000, so as to meet their profit target of 4,500,000. So we are going to illustrate now the profit statement. Profit statement for division S. Their sales, for the sales, I still have that 150,000 units because you see it does not impact it, times 500 naira item, giving us what?
75 million.
75 million. I still have that untouched. Then the offer that I'm talking of, which we don't know of the price yet, is what? 25,000 at, we don't know the price yet. I will come back to that. This is what they are looking for, this unit price. The total would have given us what we call the total sales, which we don't know for now. Then the variable costs. The variable cost is in full. We'll have 175,000 items, because that would mean we're selling out the whole 175,000, 150 to these and 25 to these. Times, what cost will it take us? 440 times this gives us what?
77 million.
77 million. Now this is the variable cost that I'm meant to less. If I less this variable cost, I was meant to have a contribution. There were less, you can see fixed costs. The fixed cost for division X is what?
5,600,000.
And now they've clearly told us that the target profit is 4,500,000. So target profit, this is what they aim to get, 4,500,000. Now if you recall, our sales price less variable costs less fixed costs will give us profit. And I've told us what the profit is. We know what our variable cost is. We know what our fixed cost is. So our sales, I can say sales less our variable cost is what? 77 million. Abi?
Yes.
77 million. Less the fixed cost. Fixed cost is what?
5,600,000.
Let's say it will give us a profit of 4,500,000. That is their target profit. Now I will move this over the equation. That will be sales equal to 77, or let me say 4,500,000 plus 77 million plus 5,600,000. That gives us total sales as what?
87 million.
87 million.
100,000.
100,000. That will be my total sales here. 87,100,000. Now we already have this. That for us to get the sales here, that will be 87,100,000 minus the sales of 75 million, which will give us what?
12 million.
12 million.
100,000.
100,000. This is the sales here. 12,100,000. Now, per unit, we will need to divide the 12,100,000 divided by 25,000 units. Will give us the sales price per unit. That should give us what?
484 naira per unit.
484 naira per unit.
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
So here is times 484 naira per unit. So this our contribution will now be what? 8,700 minus 77 million.
10 million. 10 million. 100,000.
100,000, which if we less 5,600,000 will arrive at their target profit of 4,500,000. So to answer the question, the minimum price would be 484 naira, and that answers the question. Thank you very much for your time for this particular question. I hope you find the video useful for your studies for the forthcoming May 9th 2025 examinations. Thank you very much.